What's happening, guys? Next project is this 2013 Accord EXL. Got hit right here on the left front. It's kind of a glancing blow. Pushed the wheelhouse rail in, got all the suspension. I'm going to probably skin the door. I think I can save it. But it's stretched pretty bad right in here, so I'm probably just going to straighten the outside edge here and then skin it. So that'll make for a pretty good video to skin the door. I've got the new fender on the way, so once I get all this straight and get the fender hung, I'll get the door matched to the fender, and then that'll have the door frame in the right place. Then I'll take the door off and skin it. At least that's the plan for right now. I've got all the suspension on the way just so I can get this thing drivable as soon as possible. I had to put two spares on it. This wheel, this was on the right front. This is the left front. Wheel's banged up pretty bad. Got a new wheel or a used wheel coming. It's off the bead in here, so I can't air it up. This is what I have. There's a few cuts in the tire, so I'm probably just going to replace that one. But replace that one, I think. But this one might be good enough. I want to go take it to a shop and get it taken off and get the rim checked. What I'll have to probably do at a minimum is repaint this wheel. It's got a big gouge here. I'm actually going to drive this car for about 6 months. I'm waiting on a Tesla Model 3 to come in. So when that gets here, I'll sell this one, but I'm going to go ahead and sell the Civic when this one's done and drive this till I get the Tesla. Radiator support looks, it might be bowed a little bit right here, and it's rolled down. But once I get the side member cut off, right runs through here, that'll free all this up, and I can do some pushing on that, try to get back in position. It's a little bit, you can see how it's kind of angled down. This one over here is a little bit flatter. But it's got a V6, only got 57,000 miles. Went to the auction. I meant to film me looking at the auction, looking at it over there, but I didn't remember. I got one deployed bag. Got to replace the entire dash. He blows the whole dash and ruins it. Blew the windshield. Got a pretty good deal on it. Only paid, I think the auction price was about $4,600, but another $1,000 in fees and towing. First thing I want to do is get the grilling all off, get the headlight out, and get this fender off so I can see what I'm working with here. I'll show you a picture of that when I get done. I'm going to take the spare back off. This is the spare that came on it, or came with it, and I put that on that side. Then this side, I aired the tire up and forgot to check it. Got back in the car, and a day later, and it leaked back down, so I went to turn the wheel to get it in the garage here, and ran this one off the bead too. So I had to go take a wheel off my Civic to put on this side, and it barely fit. It was rubbing ever so slightly on the caliper here, but the only way I could get it in the garage. So that wheel that was here is this one, but I got it in here with my steel rim off my Civic, my 16-inch. This is a 17 that goes on this car, but they got me in here at least. Took it back off. It's back on the Civic now. I got to drive it to work tomorrow. Other than that, the car's pretty clean. It did get, whatever hit down here did come down the side. But the door, other than just right on the little peak line here, the door is pretty much okay. It's just paint transfer, and it did push the quarter in just a little bit. But I can pull that out pretty easily, I believe. And I don't even think the inspector would even see that if I just buff it off and clean it up. But I'm going to fix it. If I clean it up and it looks okay, I may just go get it inspected like that and then fix it later. I'll end up having to paint the whole side of the car anyway. It's going to be fender, door skin, so all this will be black. Then I'll have to at least blend this, probably blend into this door, and I'll be able to put a little color on the quarter there and come up with it. That way I want to color the whole side. We'll see. It may be easier just to do the whole side, but see how much primer I got on it when I get done fixing this. That's how far out I got to go. But I'll end up painting the whole side of the car anyway, at least clearing it. And I've got to do the hood. I was hoping the hood wasn't damaged, but when I got to the auction, I saw the lip rolled down. I was going to try to straighten it back out, but the paint inside here, you can't really tell it on the camera here, but it's cracked. Didn't peel off, and there's a little pucker there, so it really needs to be redone. I'm going to straighten it out and just fit the fender to it for now, but it'll probably be the last thing I do. I'm going to go ahead and get this stripped off, and I'll be back to show you the teardown. Alright, I've got it mostly torn down now. Once I got it back in here and was looking around, I've got don't know if you can see that, but the sway bar bushing, sway bar on the other side pushed it out of the bracket. There's the bracket, the bushing's over here, so I've got to take that bracket back off, slide the bushing back in. Didn't push it out of the other side, but there's actually a collar built onto the sway bar on the inside of it, so that collar pushed the bushing out. I think that's the only problem over there on that side. Amazingly, I think all the wiring and connectors are okay. There is one spot in here, the ABS wiring back in here got pinched a little. I'll have to check that out. ABS light was not on, so I think it's okay, but I'm gonna have to at least check it and maybe put some more plastic loom on it. This little bracket's slightly pushed down. I'm probably not gonna worry about that at all. Probably get right on the edge of it here and just tap it up just a little bit. Took the brake off already. I'm going to save that. The rotor I need to check, make sure it's not bent or anything. Really doubt the rotor got bent, but I'm going to replace the entire knuckle just because I don't know how much of an impact this bearing took and I don't trust it since I'm going to be driving it. Definitely want that to be right. Even if I was going to sell it to somebody, which I will eventually anyway, I still want to change it. Control arm's bent. It's buckled in here. Can't really see, but if I can get underneath I would, but I'm not going to lay under the car just yet. I'm going to have to take the control arm off the subframe to get this out of here. Everything's so jammed I can't get the axle out because this whole assembly's back about 2 inches. There's not enough room to get the axle out of this thing like you would normally, so I'm just going to have to take off what I can. Probably take the control arm off, slide it out, and leave this connected for right now. I may have to break the ball joint loose, but I'm going to try to just take the control arm off, pull everything out, and then knock the axle through when I swing this out. Then I can disconnect the three nuts up here that hold the strut in. I can take all this out together, then I can break it down from there to go recycle it later with my next load. But pretty much everything's going to get replaced, and I'm going to try the axle and see if it's okay. I have a feeling it's alright, but I won't know until I actually get it out of there and then move the joint around and feel it. Because there's no slack in it now. I can't get any slack to feel anything. I can't even get it to turn. So I've got the nut off of it, but I just still can't get it out. So I'm going to take the control arm off next. Try to not have to take the ball joint loose because there's no reason to right now. I'm going to replace all this anyway. I'm just trying to take off as much as I can with as little effort as possible. But you got the firewall right in here. See if you can see that. Let me go grab a light. Alright, you can see where the little damper weight that hangs off the side of the strut right there. You can see where that came back and hit that seam. It's got a little bit of a buckle in the wheel well, but I should be able to get from the back side. Once I take the airbox and battery and everything out, probably this upper strut bar, get it out of my way, and I may have to pull the fuse box back, but I think I can get back down in there and just knock that down, which will take this dent out. If not, I can weld a bar to this right here and just pull it out. But either way, I need to get that out so I can reseal that seam. For right now, I'm just going to get the suspension out. I've got the new strut here. It had about 2,000 miles less than what the car had. The car's got 57. I think this one had 55. So that's, in theory, that should be close to the same wear as the other one. So it shouldn't affect the ride quality at all. I didn't want one that was too new and didn't want one that was too old. So that should be fine. I've got a control arm coming. It had 41,000 miles on it. And I want to say the hub had like 18 or something. It was pretty low mileage, which is perfectly fine. I'd rather have a newer one there than not. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything off, and I'll be back when I got everything out of here, out of the way, and we'll talk more about this. All right, it's all out. I'm probably gonna put an axle in it. I can feel a little bit of a catch in here, ever so slightly, and I don't want to have to do this again, which means I'd have to put it all together, go drive it. Then if it's making noise or anything, or you can feel a vibration, then I'd have to take the knuckle back off at least off the strut up there and pull it back, do the axle then. I'd rather just do it now while it's all out. They're not very expensive, so I'm still waiting on a few other parts. I might as well do that, because I'm going to work on getting this up here straight while I'm waiting on parts. So I'll probably replace that. I can definitely feel, as I rotate this around, I can feel a couple little rough spots in the bearing. It doesn't feel loose and it doesn't appear to be bent, but I definitely can feel something in there that would probably roar. But all that's coming. Control arm's on the way. I think this thing, the knuckle, is actually going to be here today. Everything else looks okay. The only problem is that up there where the seam has gotten damaged, but that shouldn't be a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and start trying to get the air box and battery and everything out of the way so I can access that later, because I need to be able to get in here anyway for this repair. What's going to happen is the piece I'm getting from Honda is this flange and this side of this rail all the way up. The inside half of the rail stays there. It's part of the strut tower. But I'll get this section that comes up. It'll be this piece, the fender mount that's tacked here. It's also spot welded here also to this piece. So I'll get this section, and it's under here about this far. And it welds through these two holes and it stops right in here. So what I'm going to have to do is just take the hood all the way off. And I got to get the cowl panel off for the windshield to be done anyway. So what I'll do is I'll have to take this piece right here off, and it's welded a few places on the edge. It's actually bolted in, and then there's some spot welds across the top and underneath. I'll have to take that piece and be really careful with it, remove it, and then cut this section out. Take the spot welds off the radiator support here, pull it out this way, put the new one in underneath this part, and then put this piece right here back over it. So basically this whole side here is going to have to come off. There's no way to get this piece out the way it's made and leave that piece on there. Okay, I got a little more off. On this side, I was going to take the hood off at the hinge, at least on the other side down at the bottom of the hinge, just so I can get everything out of the way. This side's got seam sealer down in there, overlapping the hinge. You can see that sealer over there almost touching the bolt. So I don't want to break that seal. I've got the hood taped up in here. I'm going to take it off here on this side. And I'm also going to take just the nuts off these strut mounts, just so this comes off with the hood, because I need that out of my way over here. I'm just going to leave it on the hood so I don't risk breaking anything trying to pop these off, and that'll get all this out at one time. And over here I'm going to take, I've got it marked around the outline of this with Sharpie. And I'm going to take this off. On this side I don't have any seam sealer to worry about. So I'm going to take the whole hinge off with the hood. That way this won't get disturbed and it won't show that anything happened over here. So that'll get the hinge out of the way and the strut. That'll open all this area up. I'm going to have to work around the fender mount just a little bit, but I don't have to drill in here. It's one spot weld here, and the next one's, I don't think there's another one until maybe behind this part of the sealer, but it may just be this little fillet weld right there. There's a few more on the side of this. I'll just have to grind that until I can pop it loose. There's several of those down the side. So there's really no spot welds to have to deal with. And take these two bolts out. I guess they bolted in place at the factory just to align it, or either those bolts are there for strength. I would imagine they're probably there for a little added strength, but gonna come down here. There's really only 3 right there. There's a few across here. And really the rest are just along the top. There may be 10 up there, and then there's these that are recessed in these holes. So that's gonna be a little tricky to get that out of there because I don't want to lose too much of this material. For right now, this is gonna be really hard to access from the top. It's right up under the brake booster, so I'm just gonna have to pull this out and reach back behind the top and put a little bit of coating or some kind of seam sealer over where I burned the paint off. No big deal there though. There's a relay box, got 2 relays in it here that's down in between these 2 parts that got pinched. I think the lid's okay, but I'm going to have to get the case. And I believe the relays and the wiring and everything are okay, but it just broke the case. And there's a bracket down there that it mounts in. That's probably bent, but I think I can save it. Alright, I'm getting started on this area right here because once I put the suspension in, I won't have any way to get to this. So I'm going to weld this little plate I made into this crease right in here, and I'll have something to pull against. There's just no way to get to the inside, so I'm going to pull right there once I get this welded to the inside of the wheelhouse. Once I pull out on this, I'll straighten all this out and then pull out this dent. Alright, I pulled a couple of pulls on the slide hammer here, but I'm going to give you a shot of what I'm doing. I had to offset the plate a little bit. I couldn't get the weld deep enough. It kept sticking to the side of the plate, so I'm about an 1/8 inch off to the right of it. Alright, that pulled off. I'm going to have to weld that up. I'm going to have to move up here, do the same thing, pull it out, and then I think I can do the rest with studs. Alright, I've gained access back here behind the shock tower. I had to pull the fuse box off a couple brackets here and just swung it out of the way. It's sitting here, it normally would sit right back in here. I still don't have enough room to go back and swing. See if I can give you a shot of what I'm trying to do here. I don't know if you can see that, but right there, there's a flange they got opened up. That's the seam. Right back here, that's this seam. Right in here where it opened up, it's folded back on the inside. It's folded back open a little bit. I was able to pull put my little flat bar welded on the inside of this flange here and pull it out. And I've got a lot of this out. It's just so strong I can't pull it all the way. But I've got the general shape back to it. So I'm just going to fill this with fiberglass filler and seam seal it just like the factory did. Just put a seam right across it. And I think most of this is going to get covered with the inner fender anyway. I'm going to go ahead and fill it, smooth it out, and then put a little texture coating over it, and then undercoat that. So right now what I'm going to have to do is, I don't have enough swinging room in there for a hammer to mash that flange back down, so I'm just going to protect the brake booster with this block of wood and drop the spreader down in here like this and just push against that block. That'll lay that flange in and touch the strut tower. Be right back. Okay, this is what I'm doing. You can barely see that flange. It's right there. Just try to lay that over against the strut tower. I've got it as far over as I can get it now. I don't want to put too much pressure on the brake booster. That block of wood spread it across this whole edge. I put just enough pressure to lay that flange back in, and it's in enough now that I can just lay seam sealer over that. So what I have to do now is where I pulled all the studs and welded to it in here. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to clean this all. I don't want to put any water-based anything or pure water on any of this so it won't rust. So I'm just going to use just wax and grease remover all in here just to clean all this off, get all the soot, dirt, and dust off. Then I'm just going to seam seal it. Or wipe on some epoxy probably first, then seam seal it. And somehow I'll get in here with maybe just some black paint or something like that, just with a spray can. Just hold the spray can down in here and spray over that direction. The reason I'm doing all this first is so that I can get all this buttoned up, have that back there done, and get the inside of the wheel well done so I can get the suspension back in this thing. I want to be able to get the suspension back in and set it back down on the weight of the suspension. And what I might have to do, normally when you weld anything together, you want all the weight to be on the suspension, but with the body structure, I can just get it in the right place and weld it all together without it being on the weight of the suspension, or the suspension holding up the weight of it, because that's the way it's built. And normally this would be in a jig up here, and also the bottom of the car. You need it in a jig when you're doing that, just to make sure everything's in the right place, because right now I've got all the weight of the engine and the whole front end hanging off the jack stand, so it's really bowed down a little bit further than it normally would be. So what I'll do is I'll get these pieces cut out. I don't want to have it sitting on the suspension and then take this piece off and this piece off and the whole thing just start lifting up if I weaken it by doing that. So what I'm probably going to do is cut this off, leave the car where it is now, cut this off, and then this rail, and then get the new one in there, get all the measurements right, make sure the other side's right. If I have to, I'll lift up in the front with a jack, get a little bit of the weight supported in the front to get it back up where it would be if the weight was on the suspension, till all the measurement points line up and come out right. Then I'll leave the jack there and clamp it in place and weld it in a few places just so it can't move. But the next step's going to be to get this covered up and sealed so I can at least get the strut and all back in it. And then cut this piece off, then get this section out. I've got the new section over here. This came in today. This is a Honda part. It's the only place you can get it. And it's the whole section. Comes with this piece, this thick bracket, and the outer part of this member, and this section here with the fender mount. You can see that. And it's spot welded to the radiator support and to that rear apron cover here. There's one spot weld holding the bracket on the end to this. And then on the car, there's actually two spot welds here that weld it to the front bracket. And there's two spot welds on the top and two on the bottom also. And all along the top of the rail, the back of this is just flat. It's a separate piece, and this is open. This whole thing is open. So I've got to get this piece off so that I can break it free from the radiator support and then slide it all the way out that way. And then slide the new one in this direction, put this piece back over it. Next thing I'll be doing is pushing this out with a ram. I'm going to put a piece of angle iron across the frame rail edge here and push this all the way out until it matches the distance on the other side from the rail to the the inner edge of the other one. I'm going to have to reuse the inner edge of this. It comes with the strut tower, so I can't get it separately, and there's no factory seam to cut it back here anyway. So I'm going to reuse the back half of the rail, but I'm going to push it out and get it close, match the other side. All right, I'm going to just brush on some of this easy coat since it's direct to metal. I don't really have time to wait on epoxy to set up and get that on here. I can't spray it down in there, so I'm just going to have to reach in. I'm going to spray a big puddle on this paper and just wipe it with a brush and go down in there and brush it all over the bare metal there. I've got it cleaned and scuffed with a scuff pad, and then I wiped it down again and hit all the bare metal with this, and I'll come back with some seam sealer, seal the seam up, and I'll have to just undercoat it or something like that. It'll never get seen. I just want to seal it up so it doesn't rust. Now under here I'm going to leave this bare metal, and I'm going to put fiberglass filler over all this. Once I get done with the filler, I'll come back with the easy coat and just spray that over whatever's left that's bare and seam seal that. I'm going to wait to seam seal all of it together. So I'll put the easy coat on the back side and then come back and do the body work here and then seam seal it all up and then undercoat it. Alright, I've started pressing on this. I've got a piece of angle in here, but it's so close I'm just going to have to start with the spreader in here and try to get this out as far as I can with it. And just keep adding spacers in here. I've got a block of wood to protect the frame rail, spread the load out there, and I've got 3 spreaders in here to keep the surface of this inner part that I got to save from getting dented. I'm just going to press this out as far as I can get it and close it back together and see if I can squeeze another board or something through here to get a little more stroke out of it. And once I get it opened up far enough, I can probably put the actual ram from here out to the rail once I can fit it in there. I'll show you a couple pumps here just so you can see how it's moving. It's not going a whole lot, but this attachment's not really made but for like a half ton or something. So I'm getting as far as I can go with it. There it went. Got a little bit out of it. I'll reset and see what else I can get. Probably going to end up, if I can't get it all the way out, just end up cutting this piece off. That'll weaken this a whole lot where I can just push that flat piece right back out. Won't be any problem. Alright, that spreader just wasn't cutting it. It can't provide enough force. So I've got the right angle attachments in here to where I'm just using one end of the ram. And I've got the frame rail protected with 2 spreaders. I couldn't fit the block of wood in there just yet. I'm going to try to reset in a second when I run out of stroke. Just letting it sit for a minute. I've moved it probably ½ an inch. I'm going to go ahead and show you a little bit of it. Then I'll reset it in a second. I don't want to put too much pressure on that frame rail, but as long as this is given, I'm not going to generate any more force than I have already. You can see it moving. Hopefully you can see that. coming on out. And you got to have another 90-degree footing in here, because as you push out, it tries to rock this way, so you got to have a footing up there. Most all the force is on that end. Just going slow. I run out of stroke here. I think I got like 4 or 5 inches of stroke. That's it. That's about it there. I'm gonna reset. I'm trying to get the block of wood in there now. All right, I've reset with the block of wood in there. I didn't do any damage to the frame rail, which I didn't think I would anyway. It's pretty darn strong. I'm gonna keep going out. Go slow and watch it. I've got some spreaders in here now on this side to protect this piece. Not too much further to go. May not have to go up there to my angle iron. This may be fine here. I'm going to let that sit there with that pressure on it for a minute. I'm going to go measure the other side and come back and see how far I got to go. Alright, the other side, if you measure from about the hole that's behind this block, the hole in the frame rail out to this edge in here is about a little over 6 inches. I don't think I'm quite there yet. Just visually, it doesn't look far enough. I'm going to keep going a little bit further. I can always push this piece back in a little bit on the inside when I get this outer piece cut off. But I'm going to come on out with it. And when I get to about probably 6 1/4 or 6 1/2 with it, I'll let go just because it's going to spring back. I'm going to keep working at it. I may actually take the ram and come up here with it and use my angle that I've got and push on this edge. It's out where it's stiff enough now, and it's trying to roll that bottom lip, the lip like this. It's on the bottom, trying to roll that under. So I may just have to come up here and push out on the center here. This is where it actually buckled, so I'm trying to push there since it's already weakened. And right here, mid span is going to be the weakest point anyway. It's getting close. This side out here, 6 inches is about what I was measuring from inside the frame rail to here. I'd have to take this washer jug out to really measure it. But just looking at it, it's about parallel to the frame rail. And over here, we're still in just a little bit. But like I said, once I cut this outer part of the box off, that's going to just be a flat piece of sheet metal in there. So I can push that wherever I want it to go, probably by hand. We'll go a little bit further, probably on the top here, and then I'll just start cutting it out because I can do the rest of it by hand, I think.